Welcome back. I'll apologize up front for those of you that came here for another Band-Maid reaction video, but today I'm going to review a vacuum cleaner. If that doesn't sound very exciting, maybe it's not, but a vacuum cleaner, if you live in a carpeted home, is something that you use very often and hopefully for years. My last vacuum cleaner lasted about 15 years, but when it finally started falling apart, you can see in the photo I was using tape to hold on one of the filters. I began to scramble looking for another one, and based on the recommendation of Project Farm's video, if you haven't heard of Project Farm, it's a YouTube channel that reviews products, and as far as I can tell, it's about the best one. Anyway, one of the recommendations was the Kenmore DU4080, which I bought a few months ago. I didn't do a review then because I like to use a product for a little while before I do a review. If you just vacuum one room one time and then do a review, I honestly think you don't have enough information at that point. But compared to my old Bissell, you can see them pictured side by side here, the base is narrower and the entire thing is quite a bit lighter. I would estimate about half the weight. Yet it feels just as powerful, and I'm guessing that it is just as powerful based on noise levels and based on how much dust collects. Just like my old one, it is a bagless vacuum with washable filters, which was something that I absolutely wanted. I didn't want to have to, buy another $40 filter every few months or, buy bags every time I vacuum. A couple of things that make this one preferable to the last one is that in addition to being able to lean the handle back, you can go side to side, which makes it tons more maneuverable going around corners and in between, things on the floor like chair legs, table legs, and around, other furniture. Another thing is that the canister and the handle, and I assume the motor's attached to the canister somehow, can pull off of the base and has a nice carrying handle. So when you're going to vacuum with the hose, like exhaust fans, up in the ceiling corners, or anywhere you're going to spot vacuum with the hose attachment, you don't have to worry about the whole base and everything dragging around, rolling on those little plastic wheels. You just carry the canister in one hand and vacuum with the hose, and then when you're done, you attach it back. When you do have the whole thing put together, the power switch is three-way. There's off, and there's on, and then there's on with the roller. And I like the ability to turn the roller off when I'm going to vacuum, say, a tile floor or someplace that's, not carpeting. The brush roller is great for churning up the carpet to get out, tiny particles down in there, but when you're on a tile floor, you don't need that roller going, which sometimes just, slings particles left and right instead of picking them up. But with the roller turned off, the vacuum is still working, so that comes in really handy too. At first, I thought that the narrower base would mean more passes in every carpeted room, so that it would take longer to vacuum. And when I saw how much narrower it was compared to my previous one, my heart kind of sank a little bit. But it turns out that because of the maneuverability going around the furniture that I mentioned previously, I'm actually taking about the same amount of time to vacuum the entire house as I used to before. And because it's so much lighter, I'm not nearly as tired at the end of that process than I used to be. It's really easy to dump the refuse container, or the dust bin, whatever you want to call it. As I said, the filters are washable. The dust canister itself gets, dust caked around in the corners and stuff. You can take that off and take it apart and spray it outside and let it dry and put it back together and it's ready to go. So anyway, if you don't already have one of those $500 or $800 vacuum cleaners, and you've got an old one that's about to wear out and you're looking for another one, I would highly recommend this one, the Kenmore DU4080. As with most vacuum cleaners or small appliances, it does require a bit of assembly, as seen here, but it was very straightforward and it came with a nice instruction sheet on top when you open the box, showing you how to put it all together and set it up. It took just a few minutes and then you never need to set it up again. It also comes with two attachments. One is a multi-use attachment that you can slide one piece back and forth to depending on which brush you need, and the other one is the flat attachment, the one shown here. I couldn't find an official measurement for the length of the cord, but it's several feet longer than my other one, which was 21 or 23 feet long. I haven't actually measured this one because I didn't know what the point of that would be, but it's long enough that I can skip a couple of outlets that I couldn't skip before. When you're moving from room to room, you have to move from outlet to outlet, but because of the few extra feet on this cord, I don't have to switch outlets as often. In fact, I'm able to do both of the kids' bedrooms on the same outlet, which I couldn't do before. I always had to switch over one outlet to get to the far end of the other bedroom. And the same thing is true for a couple of other places in the house. Thank you for spending your time here, and I'll see you next time.